most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most. You know him as Jive Turkey Nano. How are we doing, my brother?
Let's go. Doing great, brother. Hitting all the dance moves I got in my arsenal because I'm excited to be here, brother. We had some fireworks over the weekend. I'm traveling, enjoying this extra long weekend here. Shout out the ex-presidente. Shout out all the presidents. We got the day off for it. But I'm doing great, brother. Great to see you as well. And great to see Sav Jelly, the one, the only, in the comments already. What up to you, too? We see you. If you're with us now, let us know where you're coming from. And, brother, we got a lot to cover, man. Can't wait to dive on in.
We really do, my friend. And I'm so happy that I've got the Jivest Turkey of all to break these fights down with me. Oh. Can you not hear me? You can't hear me? You can't hear me. You can't hear me. Oh. One sec. Are we having technical difficulties? Can everyone else hear me? If everyone else can hear me, let me know in the chat. Okay, cool. Sav Jelly can hear me, so it's a turkey problem, not a me problem. He's gonna figure that out right now, folks. And while he is figuring that out, let's jump right on into it. But we got somebody in the chat right here. Let's see here. Dixon Cider saying, okay, let's get right to it, Olin and Emilianito. Before we get this recap started, I'm going to need to know if you two are greased up like Qatar was Saturday night. Dude was slipperier than a Thanksgiving turkey. Well, if there's anybody that can speak to that, I think it's probably the Jive Turkey himself.
Definitely me. Yeah, definitely can bask in that one there. He was basking in oil or grease or stuffing like I am on every Thanksgiving here. It was a fun night, man. I mean, Cater, I don't know if he was greased up or if our boy Yusuf Zalal was the one that was a loosey-goosey, greased up little slick dude out there, man. It felt like Cater was, felt like he was slipping a little bit, trying to keep up with our boy Yusuf. Not to give too much of the breakdown away, but definitely reminiscent of me on a Thanksgiving feast for sure.
Yeah, man. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into the very first fight of the night. We had a women's bantamweight bout between Julia Avila coming in against Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I'll go ahead and take the lead on this one, Nano. So perfect timing. Giving me the floor, as we say. Look, man. This fight was not the fight I thought it was going to be, if I'm being completely honest, right? I thought Jacqueline Cavalcanti was going to come out here and just walk across that octagon and truly walk all over her opponent in Julia Avila. Because again, like we've seen Julia Avila get beat by Miesha Tate, who, if I'm not mistaken, may have just gotten a fight announced today, which is just freaking wild, folks. But I digress. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, 75 strikes landed out of 201 attempted. What the heck? My goodness. She was definitely swinging, but she was definitely missing. Her opponent threw about 56 less strikes and still landed within a 20 number clip, landing 57. So again, 57 total strikes for Julia Avila. 54 of them were considered significant. And she actually landed the one of two takedowns that she attempted. Meanwhile, she stuffed the one takedown attempted by Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Obviously, watching this fight, on paper doesn't tell the story. It was fairly dominant, one-way traffic. But again, as somebody that is the up-and-comer who is, getting literally the woman that retired post-fight, you should be doing a lot more damage than that. You should be really able to get a finish. But it wasn't the case. So kind of a letdown as far as fights go for me. And the fact that it was the opener just felt a little bit flat, a little bit lackluster in totality. Just felt like it didn't belong on the card. What up, Sean Moody? Hope you're having a great day, man. Glad to see you in the chat. Glad to see all you guys in the chat. Sav Jelly, Dixon Cider, Miss Mary, Sav Jelly in the chat, just blowing it up. Love to see it. And Sean Moody. Let us know what you thought of that first fight. And Nano, my guy, tell us how you felt.
Let's go. We back, baby. Sorry about that, y'all. Little turbulence there out the gate. And maybe that's reminiscent here, representative of this fight as well, right? I guess a little bit of a rocky start. But all to say, Jacqueline Cavalcanti is someone we're going to be talking about here in the bantamweight division. Not a laundry list of contenders or people that you might be able to reference top of mind. So really exciting to see somebody make a name for herself here come Saturday night. Although, to your point, my brother, I think if we can be a little greedy, it'd be, hey, we'd love to see a little bit more. Because I did see some really, really exciting flashes from a Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Her offensive prowess, her willingness to go out there, mix it up. She was smart, maybe a little too smart, maybe playing a little too close to the vest there at times. But I saw some really good flashes. I think as long as she continues to get that confidence, she had a great post-fight kind of speech, just showed some of her personality a little bit. And I'm thinking, man, she's got a lot of potential here. I'd love to see her continue to grow, continue to do what needs to be done there. And I saw the little strobe light action there. So that was pretty good. But I digress.
I was adjusting my light settings. I didn't know what that button did. I'm still not 100% sure what that button does.
It goes into some
party
strobe
mode.
light effect. It's party mode. I like it. And I think with Julia Avila, the dance partner in this one, because it does take two to tango, right? I think with someone as skilled and as violent as a Jacqueline Cavalcanti, it just felt there were some stalled out moments there, some frustration. And the Julia Avila, like we talked about going into this, I didn't know how much steam she has left in the tank there, and the wheels started to fall off a little bit. It felt, just thought Jacqueline ran away with it. But all to say, not sure if you have anyone top of mind for Jacqueline next. But the fun thing with her type of style, and again, the short list of high contenders at this point, you could really throw her in there with anybody. I mean, a Carol Rosa or Yana Santos, who are ranked a little bit above her, can certainly make sense. But even if you want to go up a little bit higher than that, I mean, Eileen Perez, who I know is called out of Tracy Cortez, but the twerking against the true striker here might be a good matchup. Can maybe make for some good build-up as well. Both fought recently. And Irene Aldana as well. That's one, I guess, if you're thinking, I'd love to see Irene get back out there as soon as possible. I'm double-checking if she has a dance partner coming up. No, not since her loss in September. So love to see her get back in the winning column, and why not do it against a young up-and-comer like a Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Gonna get you motivated. That's a fun one personally, but again, hey, Jacqueline's in a good spot now, my brother. I don't know if you have anything that makes the most sense in your book, or hey, if you're in the chats here, what do you think's next for our girl JC here? It's a fun one. A lot you can do with her.
Man. I actually didn't have a name on the tip of my tongue, so I'm glad you did, and I don't disagree with it, bro. I think that's a solid pick, and you got to give her somebody that's a big test, right? Somebody that's top 15. We're right outside of that top 15 for Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Makes a lot of sense in a less than stacked women's bantamweight division. Moving forward to a heavyweight bout. We love a Dontel Mays fight, folks. And we had ourselves a Dontel Mays fight against Walter Walker. I just can't get enough of this naming convention. You got a Johnny, you got a Walter. But man, I think there's a clear depiction from this fight, if anything, that one Walker brother has a higher ceiling than the other at the current given moment. Nano, talk to us about this fight that lasted all of 1 minute and 17 whole seconds.
I'll try to keep it even shorter than that, my brother. It was not much to say or to show or to talk through there outside of our boy Walter Walker successfully getting his second consecutive heel hook submission victory, making some history there, making a name for himself as well. Gotta love that. Air horns all around. Big shout out to Walter Walker. I wish I was ringing some Black Label Johnny Walker on your behalf here, but the bourbon will do. Man, it was fun. Fun while it lasted. I mean, not much to it. He went straight to what he needed to do. And I guess opportunistic, he said he's been training it a lot. And the other thing he mentioned was that he lost some weight. I think that's why he said his shorts fell off. His balls were not too hot. We lost a little too much weight there. Not a Derek Lewis situation.
My balls is hot.
And it was before the fight. Like, I'm gonna be hot already. But man, what an exciting guy! What a cool story! What a fun way to earn a victory. I mean, made quick work of a Dontel Mays. What's next? I guess that's where it gets tricky, right? I don't know how much more I learned outside of knowing he can secure some submissions. He is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I think that was already to be expected. Getting 2 in a row like that, that's exciting. Can definitely make us want to tune back in, but I didn't learn much more about the striking. Is he making that next step up? Like you mentioned, the ceiling for this guy is the roof, and it's a high roof here. We don't know how high that roof is. We don't know how many stories, but it's exciting, man. In a division that doesn't even have a lot of people on the roster, 50-ish people. This is a name here that we'll definitely be talking about more. Anything else stood out to you, brother? I went 3x the amount of time that this fight lasted, so I'm overdue.
Great breakdown, brother, as always. I can't disagree with you here. Look, out of the entire fight, there were 8 total strikes that landed before that heel hook was sunk in, 5 of which belonged to Walter Walker. And mind you, each man only landed 1 significant strike, so it wasn't a striker's delight by any means. It was a very quick bout, just a little over a minute, lock him up and put him down. Mind you, I don't know if you remember, but that last one that he got, the heel hook, it was a verbal tap from Junior Tafa. He literally yelled. So just nasty stuff. That's how you know he's got a vice grip on that heel hook, folks. When it comes to what's next for him, you got to put some respect on the man's name. Dontel Mays was number 14 before this fight. He's now sitting at number 15, going down 1 spot today. You got to think, put him in there against the top 15. Tai Tuivasa would make sense if he was in shape, but he's simply not ready to fight. So instead, I throw 2 other names at you, my boy. I've got Shamil Gaziev or Derek Lewis, sitting at number 11 and number 9, my friend. What are your thoughts on those?
Wow, amazing names. I didn't know if my reference to the balls is hot was a little bit of symbolism there, but that seems like a lot of fun.
I'll tell you.
Hey, man, we're cooking now. Shamil Gaziev, right? I mean, he's the guy that we're almost calling for him for the next title shot, right? He's kind of our best kept secret, the potential cash cow here in the division. So I don't know if he'll answer the bell there. I think he has his sights north of where he's ranked. And I love my boy Ty, man. It's unfortunate he's not ready yet. But someone else that just got put on this ranking, Kennedy and Chekwu. Another fun, talented. I don't know if you want to Icarus affect these 2 guys, but 2 shiny new toys. Might want to play with them if you're Dana White. I don't know. Smash them up now. What do you think, brother?
I'm not mad at that pick. Kennedy and Chekwu was definitely somebody else I was thinking about, but I was like, with a win like that over Dontel Mays, I almost want to see them pole vault him a little bit further. But like you said, man, 2 shiny new toys. He's been looking real nice at the heavyweight division. So why the hell not, man? Why the hell not? And with that being said, folks, we move on forward into a bout that took place at the men's 135-pound bantamweight division. It was a bout between Vince Morales and Elijah Smith. Oh, man, I am drinking just a glass of beautiful whiskey, but I am pouring one up because we were wrong on this one. It's simply... That's how it goes. Vince Morales put up a valiant effort. It was a 3-round war, in my opinion. Starting off with one man getting kicked in the crown jewels, and then the other man getting not one, but 2 fingers deep in the eye sockets there. Man.
All right, good job, champ.
They were just really getting in there in the worst kinds of ways. So with that, we do a quick shot for you folks. There are 16 of you viewing. If you drink with us. If you don't, that's okay. No peer pressure. We appreciate you all the same. If you haven't already hit the like, the comment, the subscribe, all that stuff, make sure you do, please. We appreciate you so much. Cheers to you.
Salute. Raise a glass or give us a fist bump to the camera. We'll take it, whatever. Or fist bump that like button too. Come on, baby. Hit the subscribe while you're at it. Bell's optional, but we'll take it. Come on.
We'll take it. We will take it. Let's go. So we got Andrew Nance. Let's fucking go. In the chat, my boy.
What up, Nance?
And then we got Anakin. Dude. Love the picture. Yo. Elijah Smith becoming one of my new favorites. Vince Morales 3-7 in the UFC now. Tough to see. Anakin, you're not wrong. Why did I bet on him? I'll tell you. Because the kid's got heart. The kid's got a lot of heart. Man, Nano, did you think that the judges got this one right? I got to ask you that first and foremost.
Man, that is interesting you say that, because I felt a little biased watching it, because I knew if we were wrong and Vince Morales was on the other side of victory here, that we were going to be doing this shot. Don't regret it. I think what our thought going into this was, hey, we were a little more familiar with Vince's game. We just simply don't know enough about this young kid, this potential star, I guess we can say now, in Elijah Smith. We knew he was going to be talented, but we wanted to see him go in those deep waters. Some turbulence early on, like you mentioned, poking at the eyes, and then the crotch shots. You hate to see it, but they both bounced back. And he proved to have a little bit more in the tank there, which again goes to the youth. I guess that's where I should not have gone against my better judgment and typically picking the younger fighters. But like Anakin said here, Anakin MMA in the chats, Elijah Smith, after a performance like that, after a fun microphone interview and shout out his girlfriend, because he didn't shout him out last time, so shouted her out. Funny little charismatic moment there. The kid's talented, like we were talking about. I mean, he comes from a sports background, which probably makes sense why that learning curve for him is maybe a little easier, maybe a little bit of a shorter curve for some other guys that are just coming off the couch with some anger issues, right? I like what I'm seeing from this guy.
What are you trying to say, bro? What are you trying to say?
I wasn't looking at you.
Did you just do some kind of comparison between me and you? I'm not sure what. I feel personally attacked right now.
Well, hey, I mean, I know one thing: if we got in there, it wouldn't look the way Vince and Elijah did. It would be a little bit more lopsided your way, my brother. But love to see another athlete going in there, switching over sports. What's next for him? I don't know, man. Sky's the limit. And honestly, you throw him in the bag there with any guy. I'd love to see him, maybe, I don't know about a short notice fight, but when you're this young, try to get those 3-4 fights per year. Like, be the one that's willing to answer the bell on relatively short notice, if possible. That's where I hope to see Elijah. I hope to see him back in there sooner than later. I don't have someone top of mind here, but he showed enough where I see him on the undercard. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to tune in, and I recommend you all do the same.
Now, Nano took a very, very nice, friendly approach. I'm going to break this down a little bit different, folks. I thought maybe the judges made a mistake. Let me tell you why. Round one, and obviously we have to score this on a round per round basis, right? So let's go at it on a round per round basis. So round number one, we had one takedown landed by Elijah Smith of one attempted. Solid stuff, right? 100% accuracy there for those of their bad math. Control time, 17 seconds, right? So didn't really do a whole lot with it. And if you look at the strikes, which is what we have to go to because that doesn't really count for a whole lot, 19-19 on significant strikes and total strikes landed between both men. I mean, that round is almost a wash, right? If you take into account center octagon control and the way the fight looked visually. And then you go into round two. Lot less action, right? You had both men score takedowns, not really do a ton with it as far as striking goes. So on Elijah Smith's side, there was 2 minutes and 8 seconds of control, right? And then on Vince Morales' side, there was 2 minutes and 2 seconds of control. So 6 seconds separating the two when it comes to control time. And then you look at what happened as far as striking. 6 strikes landed to 7. Elijah had the 1 extra strike. 4 significant strikes landed to 1. The 3 more landed by Vince Morales. We're supposed to judge the fights based on significant strikes landed, by damage done. This tells me that Vince Morales won round 2. Go into round 3. Well, a little bit more of the same, right? But it's kind of a cross between round 2 and round 1 because there was a little bit of control time for both guys. There was some takedown effort, but there was also a little bit more striking as we saw in round number 1. So 17 significant strikes landed by Vince Morales, 20 by Elijah Smith. But then you go over to takedowns and you got 1 of 2 landed for Elijah Smith, 0 of 1 landed for Vince Morales. But here's the kicker. Vince gets 1 minute and 5 seconds of control time. He flips the script. He got that nice sweep from the bottom. His opponent only got 28 seconds of control time, half that. So there's a 3-strike difference, and he got double the control time. To me, again, round 1 and round 2 are essentially washes. They're draw rounds. I personally am an advocate for more draws to be scored per round. And if that happens, Vince Morales wins this fight. I'll jump off my soapbox. I don't think it was a robbery by any means. I do think it was a razor-thin, close fight. But I did like Vince in this one. I still had hope, man. I thought for a half second he was going to get his hand raised, but I digress. It never happened, so...
Hey, I think a good lesson is learned there, right? Don't leave it in the hands of the judges. Unfortunately, that error or you just never know what can happen. We've seen crazier things. We've seen some crazy decisions before, most certainly. And I do like here in the comments, Anakin, shout out Anakin MMA. I was thinking Tertios versus Smith. That's a really fun one. That is an interesting name there. You know, Ricky Tertios always willing to answer the bell.
Inject that into my veins.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's going to be violence. Swift Smith here is going to try to go out there and show how swift he truly is. But, man, there's a couple other names, too. There's a couple of guys that fought earlier in the year that could be really fun. Again, this guy, Elijah Smith's only 22 years old, so let's not feed him to the wolves just yet. Maybe he doesn't need to earn some stripes before we... and Ricky Tertios is a kind of a good litmus test there. Wouldn't be mad at it. But I think even like a Orinya hybrid, Nakamura, coming off a loss earlier in January, or even the guy that beat him, ranked a little bit higher, Muin, Tajik, Gafarov. Both pose different threats stylistically. Both can be fun paired up with the Swift. Jeremiah Smith, he definitely proven to be able to have a variety of skills in the bag. Did I say Jeremiah? I meant Elijah. My apologies. Yeah, all to say, I like that kind of name, or maybe someone ranked a little bit below a Ricky Tertios. That might be the max I would go for an Elijah Smith at this point in his career. But good call out there, brother.
Yeah, I love the call out. I don't know that I would go so high as well, but at the same time, let me tell you where my head is at. I think I would probably go with Victor La Mangosta Henry. I think that would just be a banger of a matchup. He's coming off a loss to Charles Air Jourdain. You gotta think the kid wants to get one back on the win column. And shout out Lane in the chat. Love to see him. Love to see him. Crossover MMA. Dude,
let's go.
Hope you're having a blessed night, my friend. Love seeing all the guys up in here. Love seeing the guys up in here. Victor Henry, I feel like is a fun name for him. The other name that came to mind for me was actually Charles Air Jourdain. Right, I know his last fight was it was a win over Victor Henry. Right, either way, you got to think he'd probably be down for that. So, yeah, I like Victor Henry a lot better. But as a secondary name, throw that name in the hat, my friend. Throw that name in the hat, and we move on. We move forward into a welterweight bout that I couldn't have been more wrong about. I'm gonna pour one up right now. Gabriel Bonfim coming in against Chaos Williams, who, man, it was chaotic for every second that it did last. And then, man, he did the Nosferatu scene on the mat. It was bad. Oh, man. He had an out-of-body experience. If you were watching, you also had an out-of-body experience.
Great reference.
Right,
I gotta watch that movie.
We'll stop. Thank you. I actually haven't seen the movie. I've only seen that scene. And as I watched the fight, I was like, dang, he hit the Nosferatu. That's wild. That's wild.
That's very relevant.
My goodness.
He's in tune with pop culture. Look at this guy.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I'm getting PTSD flashbacks to the drink off against Leroy that happened during the fight. With how many we got wrong already?
Shout out Western Mass Climber.
Let's
Joining
go.
the party now. Water's warm, y'all. Come on.
Cheers, folks. I'll keep it short and sweet this time. If you drink, do one with us. If you don't, do a sip of water, folks. Either way, we appreciate you all for being here. There's over 25 of you right now, so thanks again, folks. Cheers to you.
It's a party up in here, y'all. Yeah, Lane, we see you in the comments, my brother. Chaos gave me PTSD Saturday. Yeah, we're all trembling a little bit here for sure. Chaos,
Man.
That's what he does, right? That's what Chaos does.
What he does.
And
Take the lead here, Nano.
I was kind of doing it already, my brother. I appreciate it. Yes, my guy, Mr. Bonfim, Gabriel, going out here and taking care of business. He was very smart in the beginning. You knew Chaos was trying to come out there, land that 1-2, the overhand right, the heavy hands that he is known for throwing there. But Gabriel did good at managing the distance, moving in, out, side to side, left to right, out of range, feints, teep kicks, the 1-2s like you're mentioning. Really started to establish that jab, which I think really was helping him. Even if we were going to end up seeing a decision, I thought that jab was going to pay dividends as the fight was going to continue to go on. Finding your mark, softening up your opponent, scoring points. But I liked everything I saw from my boy Gabriel. Performance of the night, no fluke there. Certainly earned it. And I think my biggest takeaway is, man, when he's on, he is one of the best fighters. Like talent, just tit for tat, in terms of well-roundedness. How do you not love the kid? And that kind of finish. And it was funny too with Felder on the commentary talking about, oh, I don't know how tight it is. And the next thing you know, he's like, well, I put my foot in my mouth. I was wrong. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know. That looks, oh yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, that was tight. So yeah, no. But shout out Gabriel for that, man. Chaos, he's always Chaos, always going to be a good time in there. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to be in tune for a Chaos Williams fight. So no love lost for our boy. But the brother Gabriel had to get it done, man. I love what I saw. Curious here, your sense here, your breakdown. I don't have a name just yet, but I'm cooking a few over. I think curious to hear your thoughts before I give you mine. Let's go.
Man. It was as someone who thought that Gabriel was definitely not going to get it done. He proved me wrong. He definitely proved me wrong. He walked in there. He, as the kids say these days, no, he stood on business. He welcomed that man to the Darce side. You know what I'm saying? He hit him with the Darce choke from hell. It was nasty stuff. As Joe Rogan would say, it's in, it's deep. It was very deep. And that's all she wrote, man. If you've ever had that kind of choke put on you, if you haven't, we'll do a handful of shots in Vegas this year at International Fight Week, and I will show you what it feels like. We love doing stuff like that, guys. We're MMA degenerates, it's fun for us. So, the Darce side is nasty. It just doesn't feel good, right? Think of how a guillotine feels, but worse, in my opinion. So, it was nice. That's tight. You're right, Western Mass Climber. Forgot about that one. Man, it was so tight. It was so tight. And it's one of those things where the second it's in, you've got an eighth of a second to make that decision of, am I going to make the right move right now and try and get out of this? Because I need every second, every fraction of a second moving forward of air that I have in my lungs and blood that I have in my brain, right? Because you're cutting off a little bit of both here. To make the right moves. And if you don't, you're probably going to go to sleep because you're going to get about halfway to the right decisions, to the right steps to get out of there. And then you're just going to run out of I mean, for lack of better words, enough oxygen for your brain to function, for your body to do the right things, and essentially you just go to sleep. That's what we saw. No love lost for Chaos Williams. I mean, he's one of those guys that when you watch him fight, if you bet on him, it's a foghorn leghorn moment, right? It's the best of times. I'll say it's the worst of times, because you're either going to win or you're going to lose. As Nate the Train Landwehr says, right? Hey, if I don't lose, I'm probably going to win. So that's how Chaos plays, baby.
Well said. Well said.
A little bit of chaos in the cage. And Gabriel Bonfim, he proves that he's definitely not a quitter, right? He ate some shots on the chin. He kept moving forward. As you said, he had the better head movement. He was in and out of the pocket. He was making his opponent miss and making him pay before he even got to that Darce choke and set that up. So good look for Bonfim. I'm curious to hear the name on the tip of your tongue for what's next for him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to go off where he should have already been, right? Because Chaos did take this fight. I don't know if it was relatively short notice, but there was a canceled bout here. And it's funny because I pulled them up. I'm like, oh, okay, they're supposed to fight.
Against Hinat Fakhretdinov?
Our boy Hinat. I mean, two absolute dogs, two junkyard savages, man, going in there. Again, we were supposed to already see it. Short of a maybe serious injury, maybe he needs to return from. I would love to see that. You put that on a main card. Woo. International Fight Week. Woo. Come on, baby. Love it.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. I'm with it. That's actually who I adapt to. That's why I let you go first. I was like, I feel like we have the same name for this one for once. They were already scheduled to fight. Hinat Fakhretdinov makes sense. He is the guy. Like, there's just no reason that it shouldn't be him, right? Yeah, just basically reschedule that one. It was already on the books. You know, both men are down to fight one another. You don't have to negotiate pay or anything like that. Like, it's already there. It's already on the money, folks. Give him the fight. And with that being said, since we're in agreement, we will go ahead and move forward into a flyweight bout between Rafael Estevam coming in against Jesus Aguilar. This was, oh my gosh, Lane, Bonfim's. That's nasty work there. That's nasty work there. Nano is having a bit of audio trouble. He's going to hop out real quick, and then hop back in. And while he's doing that, no biggie dilly. It's totally fine. While he does that, we're going to go ahead and talk about this flyweight bout between Rafael Estevam and Jesus Aguilar. Now, again, I took the dog on this one. I thought Jesus Aguilar was going to have what it took to get this one done, but I was wrong. It was another unanimous decision win for the opposing guy here. The only reason I didn't like Rafael Estevam, the undefeated fighter coming into this, is because he had a lengthy layoff, right? He has had over a year off outside of the cage. That's a little bit worrisome, right? Ring rust is a real thing. I mean, I'm convinced the only reason that I beat Leroy in that drink off is because he probably had a little bit of ring rust when it comes to the bourbon and whiskey, folks. So, with that being said, Rafael Estevam obviously has been fighting his ass off in the gym for that entire year he's been out, because there was no ring rust coming into this fight. And it showed, right? 60 strikes landed to the 41 of his opponent. 11 takedowns. Like, he was on his Merab Dvalishvili shit out there. But the crazy thing is, even though he landed 11 takedowns, he shot 19 times, by the way, just shy of 20. Again, for those of you that are bad at math, his opponent outlanded him in significant strikes. 35-11. That's insane, folks. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Aguilar was definitely a dog in that fight. He was landing big strikes. Chat, Western Mass Climber, Lane, crossover if you're still in the chat, Anakin, Sav, what were your thoughts on this fight? Did you think Jesus was doing enough to turn the tides here and steer the path to victory? Because, again, 35 significant strikes landed to 11. I get that you got a lot of takedowns, bro. I get that you got some control time racked up. But with all due respect, you're not landing significant strikes. Come on. What were your thoughts on the fight here? Nano, what were your thoughts?
My man, appreciate you holding it down here. Great breakdown as always. dominant performance by you and dominant performance by an Esteban. I know, going in, we like our underdogs, and Jesus Aguilar is a fighter that has more of just like a puncher's chance. He does have that power, but dude's talented as well. But man, no, this guy Esteban is legit. I think it's gave him a nickname, Extra Bomb, because that's how freaking bomb his performance was. Rafael, that is. Yeah, man, liked what I saw. I mean, just completely dominant in all facets of the game. Biggest takeaway for me is the speed, the ability here. Let's see, Lane. Esteban, clear first and second round wins. He cruised through that third round. You're absolutely right. I mean, at that point, it's a risk versus reward, right? I mean, you got two in the books.
I've got to ask you and Lane, was he cruising through that third round simply because he knew he was up, or because he was starting to get tired?
Oof. I think definitely both. I think you definitely seen, and I'm sure I could pull the numbers here, but you see a little bit of a dip in terms of the production. But you also know, and the coaches are telling them
2-2 on significant strikes. Round 2, Rafael Esteban, 1 significant strike. Jesus, 5 significant strikes. Round 3, Rafael, 8 significant strikes. Jesus, 28 significant strikes.
Interesting.
So he outlanded him on significant strikes in rounds 2 and 3, and tied him on significant strikes in round 1, even though he was down just about 4 minutes on average for both rounds 1 and 2 on control time. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, and I mean, even on top of that, right? I mean, because not as many strikes thrown, but then you see the glaring 1 for 6 of takedowns. So definitely a little bit of a change when it comes to the style. Again, if the thought is, hey, you might already have 2 in the bag here, just do enough to get the dub here. Don't make any mistakes. And maybe the wrestling was going to be a part of that. Get him down. Like, don't give someone like a Jesus Aguilar any boxing chance of winning here, which he was still landing strikes. That's what he's going to do, right? Throwing everything but the kitchen sink. It was a fun fight, but yeah, I think Esteban definitely was the guy. He was the better fighter this night. He was the obvious winner in my book. But sometimes you do got to factor in how the fight's going. And on paper, this doesn't sound like a really exciting one, but there was some really good exchanges, some good reverses, things like that. I think Rafael, man, I mean, the age scares me a little bit here in terms of what's next. I don't know if you just throw him all the way up, but he does have a win over a Charles Energy, now a Jesus Aguilar. Those are some legitimate names. I don't know if you throw him into the den, into that top 15 just yet. But he's a guy that's willing to answer the bell. And I tell you, man, these Brazilians, Rafael, Sunsao, and Rayoni Barcelos. I mean, all these guys, man. Jared Cannonier, we're going to be talking about him later on. I mean, these guys stand the test of time, man. Father Time is not always undefeated, my brother. I love it. And we got a dog in the chat, baby.
Some of those old dogs still out here barking in the backyard, baby. And speaking of a dog that barks in the backyard, we got S Dogs MMA Talk, folks. If you're not already like and subscribe to this man's channel, S Dogs MMA Talk. Don't forget the A, because his stuff is always A+, top notch, folks. That is SDAWG MMA Talk. I have faith that each and every one of you know how to spell the word talk. Let's go, folks. And make sure you go on over to his channel and subscribe. But after this video's done, right? Appreciate having you in the chat, my guy. If you're drinking, pour up a shot for us. I got one to do for this fight because, I knew I was going to be thirsty today. I bet against Esteban because I knew he was going to have a little bit of ring rust in there. And I knew, with all due respect, Jesus Aguilar was trying to make a name for himself in that octagon on Saturday. But I digress. He didn't get the win. So with that being said, I mean, with my guy in the flyweight division, he got this done. Nano's ready. I got it poured up too. Cheers to you folks. Bink, let's go. No lengthy stuff here. Sterling needs your help with pronunciation.
Owen's a pro. MMAnomaly here has been doing this. He's about that life, y'all. We all
am definitely about that life. I listen to the phonetics more than I will admit, because I don't want to ever disrespect people, because like my Starbucks name is Owen. So I get my name mispronounced and messed up all the time, even though it's only 4 letters. So the least I can do is put in the work to try and get these guys' names correct,
Oh, win, because you're always winning, my brother. It's a classic mix-up.
Love it. Love the mix up there, my guy. That's nice. That's a nice way to flip the script, as we say. Speaking of flip the script, Cobra Kai last season came out. If you haven't watched it, it's fan-freaking-tastic. Going back to the roots, in my opinion. I cried more than I would like to admit watching that show. So definitely check that out, folks. And with that being said, it's time to talk about what should be next for the young man, myth, legend, Rafael Estevam, assuming he does not take another year off here, right? There's obviously a number of names that you could give him. You got to start looking realistically at the top 15. You got to start looking at people that make sense for him to really move the needle on his career. You also got to start looking at people that make a lot of sense for, would make a lot of sense for both men's trajectory and also be able to fill up an arena. And what it all boils down to for me is you got one guy like Rafael Estevam who is 13-0 now, right? Undefeated. I don't know. Can you still call him a prospect at this point? Not really, right? At this point, you just got to call him someone a name. So you got someone that's really a name that's coming up. And then you got someone who's had one fight in the UFC that already has more followers than 90% of the flyweight division in the UFC roster, in Kai Asakura. He made his debut in an instant title shot against Alessandro Pantoja. Why don't we give the young man somebody a little bit down the ladder? Give him a chance to maybe build himself, but also give this other young man in Rafael Estevam a chance to build his name off of a Kai Asakura. Am I being an absolute psychopath here or what, man?
No, brother, I love it. I love it. Those are two absolute savages. I think the age actually makes more sense than I originally thought when you said it, because Kai Asakura is someone that's been in the game, but he's no spring chicken now. I think he's somewhere in his 30s as well, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I'm not aging him here, but that makes sense. That makes sense to me. The namesake.
31 years of age.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, again, he needs to bounce back, right? I mean, you gave him the freaking Icarus effect and having a title shot as a debut in the UFC. That is hardly something that we see. Let's see here. S-Dog, not only should have seen the beating this man put earlier. My brother, I heard. I haven't heard from Leroy. I haven't seen him in the comments yet, so he might still be recovering. And hey, I've watched my fair share of live events with the MMAnomaly, and from all the festivities we be doing and the zaz we be eating or the jambalaya he be making, whatever it is, he always puts me to sleep as well. Metaphorically, sometimes literally, and physically. I digress. Yes, but listen.
Trying to make a name for myself out here, boys.
Come on, baby. Hey, we've been doing this now. That couch has called my name. I have fell into a deep slumber with my boy MMAnomaly.
We actually, for next time you visit, we have a much nicer couch now. Got to tell you.
Perfect. Say less. Sold. That's hilarious, my brother. I love the name. I think that's a perfect call out, perfect range. Not a lot of people, as I'm looking at this list, not a lot of people make sense in my opinion. I mean, the Charles Energy obviously is there, but yeah, man, he's at that point. Salud. Capitan Rafucho. Cheers to you, my brother. And cheers to everyone else. Yeah, I like Kai. I think that makes the most sense. And I want to see Kai get back out there as soon as possible. If he's not fighting already, call this man. He'll answer the bell.
He looked good in that fight up until he didn't. Okay, folks. I like Kai a lot. I know people kind of rode the wave and lost steam. The same exact way that they did with Wong Kong. But we saw what happened there last week or week before. So, folks, come on. Dixon Sider obviously feeling some type of way. Needed him to submit Jesus. And he couldn't. Oh my gosh.
Good
threw me off that spell. That was
there.
great. Great fanatics, my friend. I should have known. S the bum. Dude is allergic to finishes. Sheesh. Throwing heat. And I got to address this one. Sav said Sav Pereira back in the chat. Yo, hello, friends. The reason she's saying this, folks, is because I just saw the screenshot pop up on my phone. Alex Pereira just sent her a message, a DM on Instagram saying, Chama.
Oh, no way. I was going to say, is it Chama?
Yeah. He literally sent her a message saying Chama. Klaus said, what an odd card. My friend, it was an odd card. And dude, shout out. You just sent a comment at my lucky number, 616 p.m. So, dude, love that. And it was an odd card, but at the same time, it was also a very fun card. I think it was a card that exceeded expectations, and that's all we can ever really hope for. So, with that being said, speaking of things we can only ever hope for, we got to talk about Angela Overkill Hill in the women's strawweight division, coming in against Ketlin Souza and just putting a working on her, man. 103 total strikes landed over 77 from Ketlin Souza, and 86 significant strikes landed over 70 of Ketlin Souza. Mind you, she also went 2 for 6 on takedowns. I will tell you, Angela Hill looked her absolute best in this fight, in my opinion. She said that going into this fight, she was going to do her best to try and not look tired going into the final rounds, because that's something that's cost her decisions in the past. And fun fact, Nano, not sure if you're aware of this, but this was her first split decision win ever in her professional career. So you just love to see it. I thought she earned it. I thought she did just enough, maybe a little bit more than enough to get that win over Ketlin Souza. And look, Angela Hill showed one thing, that she has improved significantly in many, many ways. And Ketlin showed another thing, that she needs to improve in many, many ways. Klaus is saying they had to throw her one. I don't think they threw her a bone here, my friend. I respect you, but I firmly disagree with you there, bud. I
disagree.
I just can't get behind it. Because Ketlin is definitely somebody who could be I'm not going to say a future champ, but she's a top 10 fighter. She just has a couple of holes to work on, and once she closes those holes, she could be a real problem. I also think she could possibly, I don't know, man. If they ever introduce an atom weight, she could probably cut to atom weight, because she looks like she's like carrying a little bit of extra weight just because there is no atom weight division for these girls. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, Nano, I thought it was an impressive performance for Angela Hill. I won't spend a ton of time on it because it seems like the consensus is that it wasn't the best fight, according to the crowd here in the chat. So, Nano, tell me what you thought, my friend.
Oh, man. I would, that's an interesting take on it. It definitely, it's one of those things, right? Like, I guess maybe underwhelming, I would say. I wouldn't yawn. I wasn't yawning, but I do like your emoji selection there, Lane, bringing the pain. Anakin here in the comments, I thought Souza won, but whatever, I guess. Yeah, it's tough. I was rooting for Souza. I think what might have happened here is...
Oh, wait, you put your shot on Souza.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, we suck again.
It's going to be one of those nights.
It's one of
because
those nights.
Unfortunately, when one of us does one, we both do, because on this show, we don't let people drink alone.
We hold each other accountable.
If anything, this is basically me and Nano, we're sparring for the next time I'm on a live watch along and someone's like, hey, Olin versus anybody, 10-minute rounds.
Oh, spa? Oh, he said spa.
Talking about a spa?
Talking about spa?
Feels more like we went to the spa.
I'm so relaxed. It's like a spa.
I'm not gonna lie to you. After that competition, I went to the kitchen and I made bacon. Some of the best bacon I've made. It was fantastic. Like 3/4 of the way through, I poured some Lingham's hot sauce, which is a hot sauce I discovered in London.
Damn.
And it's like a Thai hot sauce. It's awesome stuff.
Holy shit.
But I poured it into the bacon grease and just like tossed the bacon in there with it, and it blackened and caramelized a little bit. And then we made like BLTs. It was fantastic.
Oh shit. Yeah, that sounds good now.
I was up by 7 a.m. the next day.
Attaboy. Rocking and rolling, man. This guy's a legend. The MMAnomaly at his finest.
Let's go, kids.
Yeah, but
I can't wait to see you all in Vegas.
Oh, hell yeah. We will be there. Let us know.
We're going to have a couple of people from across the pond, man.
Dude, that's exciting as all get out then. We'll have to show them a good time. I don't know if they've been there before, but we'll show them how we do here in America.
The one that I'm thinking, like leaning towards possibly making it out, it has never been to Vegas, so it'll be his first time. And then I think S-Dogs is possibly going to come, and Crossover is possibly going to come. So,
dude, let's go.
Bro, we're going to get a lot of good content, and there'll be some of it that the boys don't remember filming. So I can't wait. It's going to be a good time.
The freaking Avengers assembling. I love it, my brother. Bro, and yeah, man,
assembling
Yep,
event.
I was gonna say we got the shots going. Salud.
I'll let you do the cheers. You lead it out, brother, because this one's yours.
This one was mine, and although Ketlin was not in victorious Saturday, may we find victories in our personal lives. May we be victorious here moving forward. Okay, onward and upward. Keep going, keep growing. I'm in it there. Salud, y'all. Let's go.
Let's go. Cheers to you guys.
We're gonna keep going with these picks, and we're keep growing our books, baby, because this was humbling, right? And I put in my notes, Angela is not over the hill. Okay, she is not over the hill. She's still got a lot in the tank there, and I think unfortunately here, Lane, what might have happened, my brother, I think it's like Ty goes to the runner. A little bit of baseball analogy. Okay, the girl with the number next to her name, I think might have got a little bit of the nod. You have to dethrone her in a way. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that's what should have happened, but I think that might have subliminally happened here a little bit. It is also an Angela freaking Hill, a legend in the MMA game, a legend in her division. Are you going to call a foul on LeBron James at this point? You don't feel good about it. Okay, so I think unfortunately Ketlin didn't do it in dominant fashion. She wasn't the obvious choice. So if we're splitting hairs, they gave it to the savvy vet and Angela. That's my honest opinion. Watching the fight, I did feel like she was a step ahead. I was watching it with rose-colored glasses. I wanted Ketlin to win. I felt like she was going to have like far more significant strikes just based on her style and how she lands. But no, I mean, Angela was outclassing her. She was hitting her with a 1-2 and kept her foot on the gas and didn't give Ketlin a chance to accelerate herself with the takedowns, like mix it in. And this is what we know, right? We know she has a good IQ. We knew she was going to come in with a good game plan. I just didn't know how deep can she go still at this age, at this day and age. Souza. Damn. Shout out Chief Keef. Shout out Chief Keef. Yeah, man. Angela's not over the hill. She earned this one. Like you mentioned, I think Ketlin's still a girl we'll be talking about for a long time. She has all the skills, and this will be that learning lesson. This will be that thing I think that levels her up next time around. And as I'm rambling here, perfect time in the rambling dads in the chat. The effing boys, what it do? Good to have you, my man.
Let's go! The Rambling Dad, the man, the myth, the legend. If you're not already subscribed to this man's show, please, please, please do me a favor. Go on over there and then march right back on over here. But make sure before you do that you drop a subscribe and smash that bell for notifications on the Rambling Dad Show, folks. The man is an absolute legend and honest, unbiased coverage and just an absolute freaking legend of a human being. Great guy.
Love it, brother. Love it. Absolutely. Ditto. Retweet that. Take it to the bank. Appreciate having you. Appreciate all y'all here with us. In terms of what's next, I mean, hey, man. And Angela.
Before you say what's next, I got to talk real quick. Sorry, I tried to leave this meat on the bone just in case you wanted to cover it. But since you didn't say it, you left it for me, my friend. I said that there are a couple things that Souza needs to work on here. And I'll tell you what they are specifically. She looked like the head movement had improved significantly for her in this fight compared to her last two fights that I'd seen. But there's one thing that didn't improve at all, and that's her footwork. And that's something that Angela Hill has in spades. The footwork, the ability to get in, get out. Ramble on! Lane. That's a great comment. Sorry, I have ADHD, so that just comment.
Great note, too. Right on key.
So because the head movement was there for Ketlin Souza, and the footwork wasn't, she'd move her head and Angela'd make the read. So she'd throw the shot that would miss, and as soon as the shot would miss, and she's like, okay, cool, she moved her head. Pop, pop. She'd go low and connect to the body. And if you don't have the footwork to get out of that pocket, you're there, bro. You're sitting duck. So fun stat for this fight specifically. Angela Hill landed 6% of her targeted shots to the legs. The rest of it, 46% to the head, 46% to the body. Just no favoritism, just showing love. Just splitting it right down the middle, because when her head's not there, her body will be. And that's what Angela Hill made sense to take advantage of. And then the clinch work is the other thing that really, really showed a deficit in Souza's game and a real advantage in Angela Hill's game, right? Whenever they'd clinch up, the way that she was able to throw those knees in the pocket, nasty work. And she was making Souza pay for even attempting to get in there and try and work the clinch and work for takedowns. Rambling Dad, I just woke up on the couch after passing out several hours ago. Appreciate you, boys. We appreciate you more, man. Hopefully you're able to get a nice little sleepy sleep in before the kids end up absolutely wreaking havoc on your day. No, I hope it's a super tame day for you, my friend, and we appreciate you being here, brother. Nano, it sounded like you had a name on the tip of your tongue. I'm sorry I had to cut you off. I just wanted to say those couple points.
I had to, my brother. I had to. No, you had to jump in there, and that's well said. I hope Ketlin is listening, because you're absolutely right. Little tweaks, little progressions have to be made 1% better every day. So we say around here, keep on going, keep growing. She's gonna be a champ before we know it, baby. Yeah, this is an exciting one, man. I guess the question is, what does Angela want to do? Frankly, you give her whoever she wants at this point. I just don't know if she's thinking to herself, I'm trying to make another run. Is she have another couple of years in her? Is she one, maybe 2 fights away from really being able to get back into that conversation, right? I mean, she's still ranked, I guess, as of today. What is it? 13. Sorry, can't read. With that being said, man, Marina Rodriguez is interesting to me in terms of where they're at in their career. She is ranked higher at a 9 spot. That can be really, really fun. Or the redheaded dame and the savage, Julian Robertson. Not a great stylistic matchup for Angela Hill, but that can be on a main card or a fight night in the Apex once more. I like it. What do you think, brother?
I mean, I think maybe the loser of Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo sticks out to me. Yasmin Lucindo has never fought Angela Hill, and Amanda Lemos, if she loses this fight, she'll want one that can get a bounce back for her. She actually has a win over Amanda Hill back in 2021, which feels like a lifetime ago now in MMA years. But I feel like that's a good fight to run back, because both women are entirely different fighters nowadays. Ramblin' Dad says, off work for a week now too. This was one of those fights Overkill Hill was always gonna win. Dude, just stylistically, I said this on the show last week. No, you gotta listen to me sometimes, brother. I'm telling you, man. But he just loves to bet against the old dogs. He's fucking young in this guy. I can't hold it against you, bro. I'm envious. I'm envious, right? But that being said, this was a night to be celebrated for the old dogs, and Angela Overkill Hill just kind of started it off for us, right? So I think, as you said, no matter what names we have on the tip of our tongue, give her whoever she wants. Someone posted on Twitter, should Angela Hill be entered into the Hall of Fame? Yes, absolutely. 100%. In my opinion, if you're talking about women's MMA, there are like maybe 4, like, again, if you had to say 5 women should be put into the WMMA Hall of Fame, right? Like the UFC Hall of Fame and the WMMA wing, if they make like a specific wing for them, Ronda Rousey's got to be number 1, because she started it. She's the only reason they made it to the big show. And then, like, obviously it's got to be Amanda, right? Because she dethroned her. Holly Holm, possibly up there. But Angela Hill, who has fought longer and more than Angela Hill, who has done more for the company and on short notice as many times as Angela Hill, it's got to be Angela Hill, bro. You got to put her in there. Yeah, I don't know. Am I being biased? Am I being crazy? Like, do you feel the same way here, Nano?
No, I definitely do, my brother. I do. I guess it's an interesting one, because I guess the questions you can pose to help determine this, right, is, do you favor someone that has a lot of the years and experience? I mean, when I think Hall of Famer, you obviously think best of the best. Now,
bro, so much fucking money, you have no idea.
Rambling Dad, even though Amanda lost, you're like, oh no, my brother.
You know that story. I was texting you that night, bro.
Yeah.
7-leg parlay. Leg 7. 6 had hit. Was Amanda versus Juliana Pena 1. I just had Amanda money line. It just felt like the easiest stupid addition. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. No, continue.
That's a tough one. We always think about those for sure. And yeah, I think with Angela, it's, do you favor longevity, like, is that in itself success and Hall of Fame worthy? In most other sports, you say yeah, like someone that has a 10-year career, 15-year career. Obviously, you have to have the pedigree, ex-champion, or I don't know. I mean, but the reality is, and it's a little harder, it's a little more nuanced in UFC. So another question I'd ask, if you don't like the longevity question, do you like a fighter that has the most points, that has the most strikes as a female? I think she's up there with like Max Holloway and most strikes in UFC history, men or women, just overall. So does the total points leader in basketball get a Hall of Fame bid? I mean, shoot, why not, right? I think so. I would say yeah. The record's not great, 18-14, but she's been fighting the best of the best for a long time. Yeah, she hasn't beat some of those champions. I think her record in the UFC is probably still a little bit better than that record indicates, I would assume. We got Dixon Sider here in the chat helping me out here. First ballot. Yeah, again. Go ahead.
I mean, look, we got to read these in order. Ramblin' Dad said it's an interesting one for sure. Even though she hasn't had superb achievements, her dedication and longevity in the sport is definitely commendable. It's like the Dustin Poirier effect. I feel like Dustin Poirier should be inducted into the Hall of Fame too for the same reason. Dixon Sider said if she goes in, then also my neighbor Jim Miller has to as well. Sir, gonna have to correct you. I believe what you meant to type in the chat was Jim fucking Miller, and you're absolutely correct, man. That guy's a legend. He should be in there. First ballot. Let's go.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, same with Donald Cerrone. I mean, I think that's how we commemorate these guys. We know it's a young man's game. We know these champions. When you see a long, multiple title defense champion, that's rare. We love that. We sulk in it, right? Because that's not common. And you mentioned a DP, Dustin Poirier. He was an interim champion at one point, so he does still have that quote unquote gold belt. He may not love it, but that in and of itself can probably be a Hall of Fame nod because he was able to be an interim champ with some badass fights, with, I mean, the statistics, however else you want to slice it up. Maybe if it's just a fan vote, he's getting in. And a Jim effing Miller and Angela Hill as well. Ramblin' Dad can make an argument for Sam Hughes in the same breath. Okay. Well,
Sam Page, the prospect killer of WMMA. All I have to say to that, Rambling Dad, is
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree.
At the very end of my breath there. Yeah, I don't know. It's like
Sam Page has lost me one bet as well. Can't do it.
Oh no, that's why we learned. We keep going and keep growing. Right? We don't go back.
That's a fact. We don't regress on these things, folks. And with that being said, we can't regress, and I digress, folks. We got Connor Matthews coming against Jose Delgado in the featherweight division. We got to keep it rolling, folks. This one we'll keep short, we'll keep sweet, because the fight was short and sweet, folks. 2 minutes and 58 seconds long was the entirety of the fight. It ended in round number 1, and it ended by KO/TKO. It was an overhand right with a quick barrage of follow-up strikes to a grounded opponent. Just a quick snap, boom, right over the top. My Muay Thai coach currently at Victory MMA. Shout out Coach AP, Aaron Pete. He loves the number 4, as he calls it. It is the overhand right. The reason he calls it that is because of this. So there's your typical 1, 2, 3, and then a normal 4 is just the hook opposing side there. He likes to throw the Muay Thai style for the overhand, because when you do that, most people are in a traditional guard, which a lot of people or some people will refer to as a triangle guard, right? Because hands are connected. It's kind of a triangle here, right? So if I throw that overhand, it's going to go up and around. And if I'm here, it's going to come around the opening and hit along the backside of the jaw lining. And that's the soft tissue. It's a nice little knockout spot, and it'll ring your bells. It'll ring your bells. So it did ring his bells. Did it do to Connor Matthews? Great job for Mr. Delgado. I mean, just nasty work. I think everybody was on this one, including Vegas and ourselves, which is why we stayed away from it. Delgado was, I think, the second heaviest favorite of the card, if memory serves me correct. I could be wrong on that one, but Nano, kick me off the soapbox here. Tell me what you thought about this performance, because I didn't learn a whole lot other than Delgado is a name to watch.
Yeah, it's absolutely that, my brother. I mean, I should have known more about him. He's repping Phoenix out here with my boys in the MMA lab cooking. But hey, iron sharpens iron, I guess. That kind of finish and those kind of skills and that kind of exciting, quick fashion. I mean, the odds certainly suggested he was going to go out there and take care of business, but we've seen crazier things happen. So that did surprise me in the best of ways. I mean, still a great outing. Made a name for himself, had a good little post-fight speech as well. And I kind of agree with him where it's like, hey, I don't know if I'm calling it. I'm going to call anyone out at this point. Might still be a bit too early. But hey, I'm willing to answer the bell. He wants to be a future champion. He's going to keep grinding, keep working. That was an exciting fight. I don't think he's injured. Hell, again, like I mentioned with the Jeremiah Smith, you're young. Try to get into that point where you're fighting 3, 4, hell, 5 times in a year or 2, whatever, right? Get to that Kevin Holland type status or just learn, right? You're going to only get better by getting that octagon experience. So take advantage now before you Icarus effect. Couple wins. Now you're Peyton Talbot. Now you have all this hype. Now you're a 1,000-point favorite, and then you still lose to the Gruzzo dog. That humbles you. These things happen. So don't need to Icarus affect him here. Short and sweet, slow and steady. But boy, my God. I don't know if it's that Mexican style, even though he's based here in the States. Jose Miguel Delgado. I mean, the dude, just a phenomenal striker. And I'll leave it there. Someone I'll definitely be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, definitely don't want to Icarus affect him. You don't want to feed him to the wolves necessarily too fast. He is just an up-and-comer fighting a name like Connor Matthews, who is definitely not a household name. Dix Insider said Delgado means skinny in Spanish. My brother-in-law's last name is Delgado, so I'm going to have to ask him that. I'm going to fact-check you, and I'll come back next week. Or next episode, rather, this week. With that being said, folks, look, it's time. It is the time that I love. It's the time to talk about the main card, folks. The reason you're all here.
It's time
To talk about the card opener between a middleweight little fiasco taking place between Andre Petroski and Rodolfo Vieira. Man, oh Manowitz. Look, I was on this one. I think, did you bet against me on this one? Did you pick Rodolfo?
No, we were both on Petroski.
Okay,
we were both
goodness.
on AP.
I was like,
yeah. My liver
pray.
can't take another one.
I was like, I pray.
I like these Philly boys.
Because I know you picked Ishmael on the next one, so we'll be ready for that.
That's
man.
I don't talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it, dude. But what I do want to talk about is Andre Petroski. This dude was a beast. I told you guys that it was probably going to be a fact of, can Vieira take him down? And if he can he control him? Because this man has proven to be hard to take down and even harder to control, right? And that's exactly what we saw in this fight. I'll keep it short and sweet, and I'll pass you the baton, my guy. Look, Andre is a wrestler. He's a pure wrestler. He has decent striking at best, but he's a great wrestler. And he just beat one of the best BJJ guys in the entirety of the middleweight division. Guy went 1-11 on takedowns. Again, because I love you people, right? For those of you that are bad at math, that's a 9.1% clip of accuracy. Not great, folks. Just not great at all. This was tough. Rodolfo did outland him in total strikes and significant strikes, which again, a little bit crazy. But we got to judge this on a round-by-round basis. I honestly thought that in totality, our guy won all 3 rounds. The way that it shook out based on control, based on negation of takedowns. I don't know, Nano. I thought Andre did everything right in this fight, including dyeing his hair to look a little bit more like Charlie Olives. What were your thoughts, man?
That definitely helps a little bit there for sure. The platinum blonde. Great awareness by you, my brother, as always. And great breakdown. I think I saw it here in the chat earlier. Anakin MMA spitting nothing but heat today. I love it. Andre Petrowski's why wrestling is the base. And he's proven why it's the best base for MMA. It's simple as that. Because that was the advantage here. And Adolfo Vieira, a very strong opponent he had in front of him. 2 guys that are just both built like juggernauts. I mean, on paper, these guys look like they're ready for a bodybuilding competition. But this was a fight, and it was mixed martial arts at its best in the form of wrestling. I might, add that I might reference the yawn emoji my boy Lane threw in the chat earlier because I was a little bit more yawning, a little bit lackluster. Okay, 60 strikes from Hidalgo total out of 3 rounds, 658 from our boy Andre Petrosky. Stuffed a lot of those takedowns, which was really the name of the game. They weren't the Marab style takedowns where he's just jumping at him across the ring. They were chained, they were methodical. There was a lot of tying up and grappling and wrestling. There was some lulls, a little bit of a lullaby there. But all to say, Andre Petrosky, baby, he's a guy wrestling. And I like that American style wrestling as well to get on the victorious path. Shout out Ramblin' Dad, Nano, Lion here, Jab Turkey with the on paper. Come on. You see me, baby. All right, you know what? Now it's stuck in my head. I'm going to keep saying it now. So I'll try not to, Ramblin' Dad. I appreciate you, my brother.
On paper.
I think I haven't said it because on paper, man, it was boring.
I've said that numerous times myself. Yeah, I'm guilty of the on paper reference.
It's a classic, man. It rolls off the tongue. Yeah, man. No, this is fun. In terms of what's next for our boy Andre Nicotina. Sky's the limit, man. I don't know. Come on.
That was a great callback there, bro. Andre Nicotina. Yeah, I'm about to have to throw that on the speaker after this.
Oh, there we go. Quit playing. I'm trying to see if he's fought him before. I feel like they have. Oh, he did. I was going to say GM3, but that already happened. No wonder. Maybe an Iron Turtle. Iron Turtle's one I like to mention a lot just because I love seeing him. He's game. He's got that kind of funky wonky style. And I don't think he'll just sit there and let Andre try to, bear wrestle him all day. I think he's going to have an answer for it. So I think an Iron Turtle could be a fun one coming off a win as well. A lot of these guys have dance partners already, my brother. The higher up you go on the rankings. And then you got these other boys from Philly, his dance partner, and Joey Body Bags Pfeiffer. Can't be finding him.
Put him in a body bag.
Hey, maybe a Bo Nickel. Maybe a little American wrestle off.
I mean, that's who he's been calling out.
Oh.
That's who he's been calling out. Bo for sure. You already know. It's time to go.
Bo knows.
I like that fight. I know we had somebody in the chat here say, look, Dixon Sider, I'm calling you out right now. I need you to send me another comment right now. He said, I hope they don't give Bo to Petrosky. He don't deserve it after that mediocre performance. But what I have to ask you is this. What do you think happens if they fight? Do you think Bo walks through him? Because I actually think that he provides problems for Bo.
Man, walking through is... I wouldn't use those words. Honestly, I think it's tougher than people would think. I'm sure, I don't know, and I'm assuming people think Bo's going to walk through.
Dixon Sider said, boys, let's be real. Do we really want to see Petrosky again? He can't finish a sandwich. Petrosky versus Iron Turtle. I think that's the one, bro. If I'm being honest. I'm just playing devil's avocado here with Dixon Sider. Petrosky wins a boring decision on the... Thank you!
Then he says, which nobody wants, which, yeah, fair. it's hard to pick a horse.
I'm not saying I want it. I'm just saying, tell me it's real.
It's real. That's real life. That's the reality we're in here. Just say there's a chance. Bad business.
It is bad for business. You're not wrong, but it's honest business. And I miss the days in which the best fought the best in the UFC. I think you're talking about 2 of the 5 best grapplers in the middleweight division. Don't ask me to name the other 3. We're drinking here.
It's a long night. We're an hour in.
And with that being said, folks, we do have another one to do, unfortunately. So it's about between Ismail Bonfim coming in against Nazim Sadikov. I told you, Nano. I tried to tell you. He's the little Bonfim. He's the less impressive Bonfim. And Nazim Sadikov is someone that has not been given any favors in the UFC, right? Why am I doing a sip of whiskey before I do a shot right now? That's stupid. Nazim freaking Sadikov. I don't know how much you've actually been paying attention to the UFC fantasy group chat that we're in here for the league that I'm running. Oh, but man, shout out to fucking Ninos. Okay, because Ninos, you son of a bitch. He had Nazim Sadikov. I'm actually going to pull up the fantasy. Oh, I already have it up. How funny. I was ready for this. I was like, do I need to pull it up? I was ready for this. So this guy had Rafael Estevam and he had Nazim Sadikov this weekend alone. Just nasty work. And as of right now, he is sitting right ahead of me at 360 points. I'm at 345. Here, Rom's sitting at 323. Chris creeping up with 280. Nano holding down the fort and creeping up on us right now with 138. And Drew, last year's champion, 121. Leroy, you know, it's his first season in, and just like the drinking competition with me on Saturday, it's tough to hold points in comparison, but he's sitting at 28.8. He's only had one fighter go, I should say, with all due respect. So he's gonna come back pretty quick. Nano, I'm upset, obviously, that Nino's had both of those fighters because Nazim, being Nazim, this dude's a fucking beast, and that kick was just disturbingly well timed. Yeah,
that's where it boils down, my brother.
He tapped him. He tapped his leg. I don't know if you saw that, but like most question mark kicks, you fake the kick to the leg.
No, it was.
I learned my question mark kick at AKA, bro. Like Luke, have you ever seen Luke Rockhold throw a question mark kick? Like they teach him pretty fucking good. They teach him pretty fucking good, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't usually see that. So when I saw that, I drooled a little bit. I had to catch myself. I was like, oh boy, oof. Oof.
It was as sneaky gets. And a wise man once said,
Miss Mary, thanks for not calling out what place I'm in. I got you, boo. I got you.
Oh, man.
None of your fighters have gone yet, so it doesn't feel fair. Speaking of which, I don't know if you saw this, Nano, but Ray Saruya, my flyweight pick, he got a new fight scheduled. And it's against Chris's flex pick.
Oh, shit.
Joshua Van. So fuck.
Oh, dang.
What a fight.
What a good flex. What a good flex pick. Oh, my God.
That's a great flex pick.
Jeez. I love it.
So before Nano does his breakdown, he has another shot to lead because I picked Nazim here. But Nano, lead us into this shot as to why we're doing it for Ishmael.
Yep, it is because I did bet on my Bone Fiend brothers. So this shot is in honor of being your brother's keeper. You know, win, lose, or draw, you got to have your bros back. And regardless of what happens, you got to be there to drink with them and lick the wounds after. So cheers to that, my little brother. You still got this.
This is why you don't do themed parlays.
Salute to that. This is why you gamble responsibly. This is why I'm just a jab turkey. I went with the boys. I went with the bros, okay? Can you blame me? But that was an absolute crazy performance. I mean, the thing with Nazim that really stood out to me was his technique. And we knew going into this fight, like, it's very technically sound. I believe I got the receipts. You could watch it last week. Go and check us out. Very technically sound. Too technically sound. I mean, literally, like, no false movements, no wasted movements, no missteps. And that question mark, to your point, I mean, literally the slickest one I think I've ever seen. It was, I'm trying to find a way to phrase this, but to your point, like, he touched his knee. Like, I think he actually hit his body, and then he hit him in the fucking face as well.
He touched his knee, and the second that he made the read and started to lower his hand, he's like, cool, I can attack the head now. I got you.
It was, I mean, and that question mark kick, the way he threw it, it's a reminder of, you know, why you're doing the kind of question, obviously to bait your opponent, but you're also getting like a secondary whip with your leg when you question it up like that.
I'm obviously obsessed with numbers, like obsessed with the number 3 for one. I'm the third in my family of this name. And dude, like that was my favorite trick in sparring at AKA. Like back in the day when I first started sparring, I would hit him with 3 leg kicks. And I'd obviously mix in jabs and crosses and teeps and things like that. But as soon as I'd hit that 3rd leg kick, I'd noticed that after the second one, they were starting to make the read. By the 3rd, they were really starting to bite on it and lower in their hands. And after that, I'd fake the leg kick and then whoosh, just whoop up with that question mark kick. And they were like, oh, fuck, that was good. This guy didn't even have to feint the leg kicks, really. Like he was hitting him with some leg kicks, and then he came in and tapped him.
Yeah, it was flush.
As soon as the hands come down, like you were saying, like you see it
Hands
touch, and
come
you're
down.
like, oh, here it comes.
Yep. Ishmael changed levels like you should. And I mean, the shin right across the brim of the nose, absolutely debilitating. It was clear as day. Kind of got saved by the bell, but not saved by the judges, not saved by the doctor. Where was the comment here? Someone was mentioning about him quitting or not, right? And oh yeah, so Dixon Sider, shout out. Why are people saying Bonfim quit? Nobody but him knew if he could see or not out of that injured eye. Potentially both eyes. I mean, dude got the brim of his nose. The fact that he could still see is a miracle, but it was weird watching what was happening in the corner. There's a translator for one. He's like shaking his head up and down, which to me looked like he was kind of like trying to like snap himself back into it, as if you would like if you bonked your head on something, maybe just like shake off the cobwebs. Felt like he was doing some of that.
A lot of times we call it blinking it out.
Right. And
he was
he probably can't feel anything. He's probably broken across the brain.
And he was actually blinking it out, which is a heavy sign of concussion. Not necessarily broken bone, but I'm not. Yeah.
So which is where the doctors in there doing their testing, the eye testing, they're seeing that, they're asking him, and I think the discrepancy was if he was shaking his head up and down, but I think he was telling the doctor like, no, I can't see, or I cannot see, or maybe how did you interpret that? Because that's where I think people were confused. Did he quit or not, or was it a false stoppage? I think he just couldn't see, frankly. I think
Did he quit on the stool? Yes, it is. That's wholeheartedly the answer. Yes, there is no, like, Dixon Sider, love the name, love the picture just as much, and love your comments even more. But I got to disagree, man. Like, and look, what you're saying right now, like, I've had a scratched cornea and I wanted to rip my eye out. It was awful. Dude, absolutely. That's the worst kind of feeling in the world. I've been through that kind of shit in sparring. I've been through that kind of shit in the one smoker I was in, like, not a scratched cornea, but other things, right? Like where I can't plant on my lead leg at all. And like, I'm dying inside. I want to quit. The ref has come in 3 times and said, just let me stop the fight. No one will think you're a bitch. Like, we've been there. But again, like, he did quit on the stool. Like, the doctor gave him a chance to say he could see. He said he couldn't see. And whether he can see or not, like, that's a simple fact of the matter. Like, he ate the shot. He went to the corner. I don't know if it was something wrong with his cornea. I don't think that it was something wrong with his eye or a technical thing. I genuinely think he was concussed. I think he ate a very strong shot. I think, for lack of better words, and to possibly use terrible wording here, it scrambled the eggs a little bit, folks. Like, it really did. So, yeah, I mean, he ate a very hard shot, and he knew after that shot that this guy has that. He didn't see it coming. It could happen again, and then he can get knocked out. From this, if he bows out and he lets the doctor stop the fight, he's going to have, and Dixon, I appreciate you being here for this reason as well. He's going to have fans like a Dixon Sider that are going to go to bat for him and say, like, hey, we don't know what was going on in there. Maybe he had a scratched cornea. Maybe he had a broken orbital, right? Like, he can't see. So, as you said, the announcer said he said he can't see. So that's what we have to go by. Absolutely right. He's not a Bonfim fan, he said. Oh my gosh. That's the best part of this whole bit. You bet Nazim. Me too, bro. Me fucking too, kid. Just obviously not on the fantasy, which is upsetting. Because I'm gonna say it again. Ninos. Fucking guy. Just say Dr. Stoppage. No, it was Rambling Dad said scratch cornea, sore pussy, same thing.
Tomato.
And no, Dixon Sider, like, that's the thing. I am being respectful of these warriors. I always try and toe the line and not badmouth or disrespect any of these people. And that's the thing. Like, the Bonfim brothers, a lot of people say that they quit. I won't say that they quit. I will say that they have been made to quit in the past. I don't think that they are quitters by any means. I think they're warriors. They step into that octagon time and time again, and this was no different. I just think Nazim Sadikov had his number. Ismail Bonfim started pouring it on in the first 2.5 minutes of this fight. And then after that, he really started to slow down. And we saw it. And Nazim started to have his number. And with all due respect, like he took a hard kick, a concussive kick to the head that scrambled the eggs a little bit, rattled the brain up, and he did not want to go out there and continue fighting. And whether it's a doctor stoppage or the corner throwing in the white flag, I don't care what it is. A win is a win is a win. Ismail Bonfim went out there. He fought his best fight. He lost to the better guy in Nazim Sadikov on the night. Is Nazim better 10 out of 10 times? I don't know. But he was better on February 15th at roughly 4 p.m. PST, right? So, folks, give me Nazim Sadikov to just continue riding out the wave in the lightweight division. Nano, this guy looked absolutely incredible. I thought it was his best performance thus far, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. Nazim and Longo, my boys. Dude, I actually met Longo last month. Shout out UFC 311. We ended up at the right place at the right time. I met the champ right before he defended against Usman Nurmagomedov, and what an absolute time. Thanks, Joe. Sorry, Umar Nurmagomedov, ladies and gentlemen. I always look for an excuse to use that. You thought I was messing that up on purpose? You were right if you thought it on purpose. Nano, do you have a name on the tip of your tongue for the young man, Nazim Sadikov?
I don't, my brother. I don't. I was going to be excited to talk about a future potential opponent here for my boy Ishmael, but maybe just give him that same hype train. The lightweight division is stacked, though. Let's not sit here and let's just call a spade a spade. I don't know where he fits in the current landscape of this murder's row of lightweight contenders, but Nazim definitely made a name for himself. And like I said, man, dude's technically sound. Heck, I'm looking at his victors, man. We saw what he did to, like Anakin mentioned here, in Evan Elder. He beat a Terrence McKinney back in 23. He's starting to really get a good resume going here. Don't have a name top of mind. Again, this division is, too stacked right now, my brother. I don't know where he fits, but I would be happy to see him back in. Oh, let's hear it.
I have two. And I'll be honest, before I even say my two, I'm going to shout out the Rambling Dad. Again, we got to give this man his air horns. The Rambling Dad said, give him for Ziv! I wish I could do your accent because I'm not even going to try. I would just butcher it. But he has such a great accent, and him saying this would sound even better. But he said, give him for Ziv. Skyrocket that man. I'm with it, bro. I'm actually with it. Also in the chat, we got Nazim versus Dober. From Dixon Sider. We got Anakin saying Nazim versus Thiago Moises, ? And Dober versus Manuel Torres booked. Love that. Look, I'm going a different route. I love movies. I love TV shows. Again, just finished watching Cobra Kai, the new season, folks. If you haven't watched it and you're a fan, definitely check it out. I'm going to see him go on the revenge tour. I do. Yeah. If we're talking about like what makes sense, like he trains with Matt the Steamroller for Vola at the 155-pound division. Why not go after everybody that's beat him recently? Right. So give me a Faraz Zayam. Give me a Benny St. Denny.
Oh shit, we're talking names now. I like it, brother.
Why don't you sign me the fuck up for those fights, baby boy? Because I'm here for it. Okay. I'm here for it. These guys are saying Drew Dober in the chat. The last win for the guy that I'm talking about that got beat, his teammate, was over Drew Dober. He beat a Drew Dober, and then he lost to Benny St. Denis and Faraz Sayam. So those are the two names at the top of my books, and I'm trying to cooks, baby. So, yeah, give me those names, and with all due respect, I think he beats one out of two of them. I'll leave that up to speculation, though.
I like it, brother. I like it. Yeah, Faraz Smile Killer Zaim did just fight recently, so I think the timing could definitely work on that one.
Trajectory-wise, these guys are spinning around the same orbit.
Exactly. So that's it, right? This winner that maybe gets a crack or is right in line for a potential top 15er. I like it.
Absolutely. And folks, with that being said, we got about 3 more fights to break down for you all. So with the over 30 of you in the chat right now, sheesh, let's go. we had a resurgence of sorts between an Edmund Shabazian coming in against Dylan Budka. Man. This guy is someone that has been up and down as it gets in the middleweight division. Edmund Shabazian looked to come back and make a name for himself. No longer being managed by Ronda Rousey, to my knowledge. He is a standalone fighter, right? He is standing on his own 2 feet these days. Got the knockout in round 1, just 1 minute and 35 seconds in. Nano, it looked like a very clean, very crispy little inside right hook. Just nasty work. Dude got smoked, Rambling Dad said. You're right. Shabba de doo. Shabazian, baby. This guy's an absolute beast. Yeah, I thought he was going to win this one. Put him in my DraftKings. I thought this was probably one of the easiest bets of the night, Nano. And it looked like it on paper as well. 1 strike landed for Dylan Budka in totality. 7 strikes landed in totality for Edmund Shabazian. Of course, all 8 strikes landed in the entire fight. Considered significant up until the very finish. Man! Anakin said from now on, give Edmund easy fights. Then when he gets a win streak, then he gets a step up. I agree. Shaba, I feel that reference was lost on Olin. Maybe it was. I turned it into an Adam Sandler thing.
I did like that, the Shabba da boo. Shabba ranks, maybe a little ASAP Ferg. I don't know. There's a lot of Shabbas. I could go different ways with that, but I like it. Hey, to be determined. Maybe we'll find out. There we go. Shabba with the music notes. Shabba ranks. Do gold chains like I'm Shabba ranks. There we go. Okay, that's fire. Banger. Lane knows his tunes. Here we go, baby. This is a musical podcast as well. Come on, y'all. Man, well, hard to follow that one up. What about Gus Abus? Since we're rhyming, Gus Abus Magomedov next for an Edmund Shabazz.
Whoa, that was cool.
I think it makes sense now. Not too high, not too slow, but just
I'm not too mad
right.
about it. But before we get into names, man, you got to tell us what you thought about that performance over at Dylan Budka.
I got ahead of myself, didn't I? I mean,
was it a hand me down or was it an earned performance?
I mean, he was fighting the mindless Hulk. I guess I don't know. We kind of made the joke about it, but boy, did he look. I don't know if it was mindless as much as just a step behind, a day late, $1 short. He certainly was not ready for the moment. Abbas is fine. Michel. Oh, son of a gun. That makes sense. Maybe the loser. I like it, Anka. Thank you for keeping us honest around here. And that's real. Honestly, yeah, short and sweet. Like, I mean, Edmund found the right hand. Didn't take much. He got on top of him, took care of business. That can happen, right? I guess I didn't know he had that much power. Not necessarily known to be a one-punch KO type guy. But he took care of the mindless Hulk. Hopefully Dylan Bucket can get back, learn from this. I mean, you got to be able to take a punch, but it was clean. I mean, he just caught him in rhythm. Wrong place at the wrong time. Or I guess right place at the right time for Edmund. But yeah, hey, the golden boy, he's golden again, which I love to see. This was a good nod, good step back into the winner's column, step back in the right direction. I am curious. So, I mean, you mentioned he's not represented by Rousey. Who is he training with now? Or is he kind of an enigma? Is he just kind of doing his own thing? I would be curious because I do still think he can continue to grow and develop. I mean, I think he has a long way to go. Yeah, he's not a golden boy anymore. He's a golden man. He's grown. Okay. Can't keep giving him that nod, but someone like an Abbas, or I guess we got to go obviously lower than that. Anyone top of mind for you, my brother? I mean, shoot, we're just talking about Petrosky. I mean, it's not pretty, but we'll put butts in seats. What are you thinking, my brother?
Man, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't love that fight at all. I don't think from a stylistic standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for Edmund Shabazian. You're going to put him against a wrestler. The wrestler is just going to go out there and wrestle. Fuck him a little bit. I have another name on the tip of my tongue, but I don't know that you're going to like it.
Uh-oh. All right, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
It's a Gregory Hobocop Rodriguez.
Oh, that stings. But it probably makes sense.
I didn't think you were going to like it, bro.
You know that?
But I'm a Jedi like my father before me, bro. I'm out here hitting you with the fucking lightsaber. You know what I'm saying? At least when I cut you, I'm cauterizing the wound, baby.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Ay. I like it, though. I like it. I think I'll even throw out some other names. I mean, where was he? Shoot.
I have to address this real quick. Anakin said, whoops, there we go. My question is, why doesn't Butka fight? Why doesn't Butka wrestle? Doesn't he have a wrestling background in college? He does, but Anakin, I'm here to shed a little bit of light on that subject. When you are wrestling in college, they're not allowed to punch you or knee or kick you in the face. Makes it tough. Scrotum Tumor MMA said at Anakin MMA, yo, great name, better pick.
Yo.
Are those your abs? My goodness, my guy's been hitting the freaking gym like hell. Love to see it.
Kind of look like mine, but probably not. Probably AI.
I mean, I wouldn't degrade yourself. Yours are way better, brother.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I was gonna say mine probably have a little more ice on them. You know, my 6-pack, but we'll take it.
Let's go. I also like Anakin's pick here. 2 strikers.
That's fire.
Edmund versus Cesar Almeida. Let's go.
That's
baby.
a
Let's
banger.
Go. Dixon Sider said Butka cuts too much weight. He can't sustain a 15-minute nonstop wrestling pace or he'll death gas. Well, fair. My question again, because I like playing devil's advocate. I like your takes, Dixon. What would happen if he fought at a higher weight class? Do you think that he would? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you're thinking he'd carry a better gas tank, obviously. But do you think he'd carry enough power to compete with these heavier guys in here? I'm not 100% sure here. Nano. We got to move into this co-main event, my friend.
Yes, we do.
Calvin Kattar coming in against Youssef Zalal in a featherweight bout that I consider damn near a title contender fight. No. We had our guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Youssef Zalal. Just
Let's go.
Getting it done. You know, we had to get a face-off between Youssef and the MMAnomaly. Folks, come on. This guy had some of the best energy we've ever seen in a fighter. Just such a good guy. Like when we met up with Root Boy Randy Brown, who is a fan of the podcast. He's dropped in like 3 lives at this point. He was doing bunny ears behind him when we were doing our face-off. The dude is hilarious. He's got a great energy. Just a fun dude all around. So I got to agree with Anakin here. Zalal, future champ soon. Look, as he said on the Helwani podcast just today, it's crazy because he was watching people like Kattar. He was watching people like Alexander Volkanovski on TV when he got cut from the UFC. And he's like, man, it's crazy because I like these guys. I'm going to have to fight them someday. I know that was a terrible impression of him, but but again, he is the future champ soon, and it's crazy because he will be fighting these people someday. I thought this was a masterclass. He outlanded his opponent 2-1, 38-75, 38-74 when it comes to significant strikes. And then, oh, by the way, just Calvin didn't shoot for a single takedown because he didn't see a reason to. He was gonna get outclassed on the grappling front. And for Youssef Zalal, he shot 8 takedowns, but if I'm being honest with you, Nano, I think only 2 out of 8 takedowns were actual shots. I think the other 6 were just to make Calvin Kattar think about the takedowns and be worried. And of course, I fucking love this guy. Just setting me up for it.
Come on, don't be crazy.
Come on, don't be crazy. The rambling dad in the chat. He's saying that probably about the Zalal future champ soon. I do believe he could be, though. I just think he poses problems. And obviously, there's a bit of bias because I've met him before. But I thought this was just a masterclass for him, man. Calvin Kattar is someone who we really thought highly of up until the Max Holloway fight. Right, Nano? I think that's fair to say. And then after that, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. While he's lighting him up, dodging strikes, not even looking at him. Tough. It's tough. It shaves a little bit off the top, right, of the ceiling. Whereas Youssef Zalal, he kind of has the Brandon Moreno thing going for him. And he's 2 weight classes higher. Got cut from the UFC. And pero, it may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next month. But I will be champion of the UFC. Like, he's got those vibes, bro. He's got those Brandon Moreno vibes. And I don't know if he's into Legos or Funko Pops, but whatever he's into, I hope he continues paving the way in the UFC so he can keep making money to afford those hobbies and just have a happy life outside of the UFC, because I think he has a hell of a future inside of the octagon. Nano, what surprised you? What stood out to you? And how shocked were you with this Youssef Zalal win?
Oh, our boy Youssef, man. He is him. Zalal. The Zalalabai, my brother. All energy, all gas, no breaks. We saw it live for hours upon hours at the fan event at UFC International Fight Week, UFC last year. I mean, I'm not surprised, my brother. Not surprised, mother effa, as Nate Diaz famously coined. That was the energy he was on, right? He was not surprised. He knew what he was going to go in there and do. We're fans. I guess the one surprising thing was the fact that Calvin, I mean, he just, at no point could he get a beat on our boy Youssef. Like, there was not a single body punch, not a single jab, no flurry. I mean, at one point he was missing by almost a mile. I don't even think the breeze was hitting him at that point anymore. Youssef was bouncing around like a bumblebee. Sporadic. I mean, not sporadic, because we got to. It was all methodical. It was all intentional movement. But he was like a freaking pinball in there. And I don't know too much about it firsthand, but I believe you told me before, like, chasing someone down in that kind of situation, like Calvin, I think, was getting a little bit gassed. He wasn't expecting to be kind of at an elevated rate, but not throwing punches. You're like getting gassed out, just trying to chase this guy. Then you're low key getting frustrated. And I mean, I was the type of competitor that I'm throwing my helmet. I'm getting fired up if it ain't going my way. So maybe he was getting a little bit of perturbed as well, because motherfucker want to get this guy and you just can't get him, man. But that was all to the game plan of Youssef. Did what he had to do against a tough boxer in the UFC. Not the best boxer in UFC, but a solid boxer in UFC. But Youssef, man, he's got all the tools, all the energy, all the gas tank you need. Frankly, I think I'm like all of us. I'm a fan of violence. I would have liked to see some blood. I would have liked to see some more nasty elbows. I would have liked to see Youssef mix it up. But if I'm sitting here with him, I'm like, but my brother, I'm glad you did it, because I would have rather you win than give us a fan-friendly affair, and then you don't get your title shot anymore. Like, go take care of business, secure the bag. I'm all for it as a fan of his, as just guy to guy, mano y mano. But as a fan of violence, I was hoping to see a little more blood. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But hey, it takes two to tango. Calvin wasn't able to track him down, wasn't able to cut the angles. You're a boxer. Cut the octagon, do what you need to do. He wasn't able to do that. So that's Youssef. Take the W, baby. He is him. Gonna keep on keeping on. I think I saw in here potential Ilya versus Zalal 2. Hey, one day this year, maybe not. I think he's probably still another fight or two away, if I'm being honest. And that's where I don't know if he's gonna fight anyone above where he will eventually be ranked here. If he takes that 10 spot from Calvin. Honestly, like a Leroy Murphy, a Giga, some of those guys, maybe even a Dan Ige. A lot of those matchups are where I think I'd like to see Zalal again before throwing him to the Diego Lopez's or the Mov Zars. Not that he's not deserving, but that's just where I'm at. Talk to me now, brother. Seems like you might have other reservations here. Let's go. I mean,
I'm dying to address the chat, and I'm dying to make you do the shot you got to do for the main event here. So Dixon said, Zalal lost his aura, boys. Sorry, I know he's your boy. He went from the Moroccan Devil to the Running Devil. Rumors going around that Macy Barber's thinking about dumping him because he was running. I cannot confirm nor deny those rumors.
Is that his girl? Is that her?
It is. It is.
Oh.
But if you see the pictures of her, that's my girl. No, I'm just kidding. Anakin said, his aura's still there. I hate when people saying he ran away, but his game plan worked. Dixon Sider said LMAO, nope. Anakin said, Qatar missed his shots. Dixon Sider responds with, that's the narrative. I didn't make it up. Anakin said not Zalal's fault. It actually is Zalal's fault, though. It actually is. And in a good way, right? Zalal made him miss. He made him pay. When it comes down to it, I'm going to take a page out of my boy's book here to my right. On paper, Zalal dominated this fight 2-1. All right, 75-38, folks, to tell it to you again. And Dixon Sider, I'm going to take your page out of context here, as they do in politics. Facts are facts. You're right. Facts are facts. Zalal won this fight 2-1 on dominance points. All right, doesn't matter if you thought he ran. Just like if Khabib was going to go out there and dominate you via wrestling, you know he's going to shoot a power double. But what are you going to do about it, mate? What are you going to do about it? Huh? Not a fucking thing. So, look, man, if you'll know what the game plan is, you'll do fucking nothing. You'll do fucking nothing. Look, Zalal was going to go out there and have the better footwork. If you go back and you watch last week's episode, Dixon, I don't think I saw you in the chat. So I'll excuse the outbursts this episode. No, I literally said last week, though, in the episode that I thought Calvin Kattar had struggled against two types of people that have heavy grappling onslaughts and people that have better footwork than him, and that Zalal brought both to the chopping block. And that's it. I thought Zalal was going to win by decision. I literally said Zalal by decision. If you would have listened, you would have made money, probably, possibly. I don't know. But I will tell you that I made money specifically on the co-main and main event. I took them on underdogs points. I had to do the winner of both, and I knew what the winner would both would be. It was a 3x your money. I put a unit on it. We tripled our units there, and it covered the spread for the rest of the week. I also made a little bit on the side bets here that we made last week in the show. We'll go over those in a little bit. But either way, folks, Dixon's going off. Olin and Emilianito, listen to me when I'm telling you that Rob Font is going to come in greased up the same way Qatar did. I should read these before I put them up. Versus Zalal, because he knows Masamoto is going to try to grapple him. Remember, I told you. You know what? On our fantasy league, I'm talking about the UFC Fantasy League, I think I have Rob Font. If I don't this season, I did in season 1. So I'm a big Rob Font fan. No, I actually didn't pick him this season, because you know who I did pick, Nano? Youssef Zalal.
Oh, that's of course the Moroccan devil. You sly devil, you.
I'm more of a Moroccan devil, if I'm being honest.
I do declare.
I do declare. Oh, man. You love to see it, my friend. Yeah, look, I mean, he didn't score me the most points of any fighter that will score me points, but either way, kind of feels like money in the bank, boys. With that being said, what should be next for him? I know it's too early to say that he should fight for a world title, right? Like he's not quite there yet, but Nano, he is the only man to go the distance with the current champ. He also won 1 out of 3 rounds against the current champ. It was 29-28. I don't know if you remember. I remember. I watched it 2 weeks ago in prep for this fight.
Fair.
I had to do it, bro. But it was 29-28. So he's the only man to get around on Ilya, and that says of a whole lot. So for me, you got to give him somebody in the top 10 at the very, very least. And a lot of them are already lined up. Did you have a name on the tip of your tongue or no?
Yeah, and that's honestly, I was being more pessimistic. Like I mentioned earlier, I thought, and merely just because some of the matchups are so gosh darn exciting in that top 15, the top 5, top 15 to 10, like a Leon Murphy or a Giga Chikadze, again, because they don't have a dance partner as well. I did see an Arnold Allen. That one tickled my fancy a little bit as well. I don't know if he's healthy or not yet, but I'm all for it. I mean, hey, man, if he's not getting the champ, which would be a little far-fetched, but as a fan, I'm hoping, assuming he doesn't do that, hey, an Arnold Allen, I see Emmett, shout out Dixon Sider, Josh Emmett as well, could be a really, really fun one.
But Emmett, as Anakin pointed out, Emmett is fighting Leroy Murphy.
Oh, and I mentioned him as well, so that already nullifies my point. There we go. Yeah. Well, sounds like we're circling on in here, getting closer and closer to.
Sounds like we're leaning towards the MMA Anomalies pick of Brian T. City Ortega coming off a loss to Diego Lopez, looking for a fight, as Dana White likes to say, folks. That's the name that comes to mind for me. Look, you got T. City sitting there heftily at number 7. Dude is an absolute beast. And we're talking Topology rankings, right? So world rankings. I like this fight. The other fight that I obviously like is Arnold Almighty Allen. I mean, the dude I think he's talked about 3 fights. Rambling Dad, that's your boy. That's your homie. Can you disclose any information? And if you can't tell us who he's facing, can you just tell us that he's off the table if he is slated to fight somebody? Because I know that's your boy again.
It looks like Dixon Sider wants that as well. Y'all are starting something up here now. The chat has spoken. Ortega versus
Zalal versus Bryce Mitchell. Then Bryce still needs to be punished. Oh man, he'll put that. I mean, he might beat Bryce so bad. I think the earth is flat, brother. Okay, Rambling Dad confirms he is off the table. Is Arnold Allen? So sorry, brother.
Well, I think if we're gonna punish Bryce, we got to have him fight a German. I think that's the only valid way to do that.
No, don't do that. No, I actually think you have him fight Natan Schultz, a Jewish fighter in the UFC.
Oh, there we go. That's okay.
Even better.
Okay, that's even better.
And he's already tweeted and said he wants the fight.
Oh, well. Brycey.
I don't know if you've heard of Natan Schultz, but if you haven't, he found some internet trolls, invited him to his gym, had him sign the waiver, and beat the shit out of him.
Well,
so
it looks like
this
he's
is
off
something
the table.
that he does.
That's what he do. That's what he be doing.
All goes well. He should be back in the summer, says the Rambling Dad. He's just had stem cell treatment on his shoulder for ligament tendon damage. Oh! Rambling Dad, can you do me a favor? Off the record, can you ask him where he got it done and if it's in that place in Mexico? Can you confirm? Because your boy's got 2 bum shoulders, or sorry, 1 bum shoulder and 2 bum knees. And I've been considering going to Mexico for that same reason. So, yeah, let me know how the results go, please.
Probably is that Joe Rogan special. Wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I've heard a lot of people talking about it. Actually, when I went to your wedding, one of the guys there was telling me they had just gotten it done like a month prior. So
nice.
I didn't hear back from them on the results.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. Big fan of the stem cell stuff. I mean, anything that can make me feel better and stop clicking when I rotate my stuff. It's great. It's a great feel. Nano. This main event, my friend, we got to get into it. Last but not least, folks, you already know what it is. Better than I could ever say it. We got to give it to the man, the myth, the legend, Bruce.
It's time
for us to go over this main event of the evening, folks. We had a middleweight main event bout between Jared Cannonier coming in against Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, or if you please, RoboCop. Nano's pouring up his shot. I got this one right, but because we don't let a man do a shot by himself, we're going to do one with him, folks. We're pouring it up. Oh, I got to get an ASMR little clip to add to the soundboard of this. And with that being said, Nano, my guy, the man, the myth, the legend. Look, we got almost 50 of you folks joining right now. If you're new here, do us a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications, folks. And if you're old here, do us a favor. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications, folks. And let us know who you thought looked better up until the very final moment of this fight, and what you think should be next for the biggest winner, aka Jared Cannonier. And if you drink, raise one up with us, folks. Cheers to you. Cheers to the growth you'll see in 2025 and forward. And if you don't drink, raise up a cup of water or whatever it is that you're drinking. Soda, we don't care. We just appreciate that you're here. Cheers to you on this Monday evening. We hope you're having a blessed day.
Salute. Put one up for y'all. Appreciate you. Let's go. Man. Brutal.
No.
Stung.
So this one stung, yeah. You were going for the younger guy, right? And I'll be honest with you. He's your age, but he looks older than my age.
He looks like my father's age. Jesus, this guy.
Can we just talk about the fight? I'm going to let you go first on this one because I feel like it's only fitting. Tell us what you thought of RoboCop's performance, and more importantly, tell us what you thought of Jared Cannonier's performance.
Man, Jared made a cannons. Cannoneer is still here is really my big takeaway. I think I've seen it here in the comments. Lane, a little more PTSD here from our boy RoboCop. He said, boy, he looked bad. And yeah, unfortunately he did. Not the whole time, though. I mean, he did drop our boy Jared in that first round twice. Was looking good to start off. Gave me all the confidence as I'm watching that first round unfold. I'm thinking exactly what I thought. He has more firepower, RoboCop pun intended there. He has more tools in the arsenal, and he's the younger, more springy. He's hungry. He's got everything's going his way. Starts off great, but then Jared gets up, he recovers, he grabs a hold of him, and that's when I kind of started to get a little worried because my boy RoboCop wasn't programmed to mess with the grappling. He didn't have an answer for that. And he ended up letting Jared Cannonier get his wits back, which this is not a guy you want to let hang around. You got to, put the wounded dog, take him out to pasture. You don't let him stick around, and you just don't, because this guy is a junkyard dog, and the Jared Cannonier is an absolute savage. He's been in war after war after war, 5-rounder after 5-rounder after 5-rounder. And I'm wondering now, I think just as I'm looking at it, I don't know if RoboCop's actually even seen. He's barely seen any 3s. This was the first 4th he's seen. So he had not seen any 5s. I should have put a little more thought into that. Because the reality is, and I think we might have mentioned it, like the longer it was going to go, the more we thought Jared was going to have a better chance. We don't know how much stamina RoboCop has. And we know Jared's been in these brawls. He knows how to weather a storm. Unfortunately, just RoboCop wasn't able to break through. He's going to have to go back, get another software update, and really work in the grappling, the wrestling game. And unfortunately, that cardiovascular, we did see a large decline there, but he has a dog in front of him. Jared didn't win by decision. He ended up knocking his ass out in the 4th round after a few knockdowns as well. It really, like we've said before, it was going great. He looked great until he wasn't. And then he looked like shit. He looked like muddled poo-poo. It sucked for me as a fan. I don't say that. You're right. I know that. But I mean, Jared's a dog, right? We were mentioning it earlier. Father Time may always be undefeated, generally speaking, but not tonight. Not that night. Okay, we got a dog. Before I keep going, Osterberry's here in the chat. Hey, yo, what up, chat? Big up, Olin and Nano. Well, hey, big ups right back to you, my brother Osterberry. Appreciate you. McDane, what you doing up? Yeah, what are you doing up? Go to bed, y'all. Come on, man. Supporting the boys. Rambling Dad, we see you, brother. Come on now. Come on. Lane with some good commentary as well. I couldn't get the picture of Kaio knocking Jared out twice out of my mind. Agreed, right? The negative ones are the ones that stick out more, right? But we could also look at the other. We could flip the pillow on the cool side.
What happens
there.
when we let these Warriors have a chance to fight, my boy? They come back and they get that W.
Dogs bark in the backyard, baby. Dogs bark in the backyard. Come on, man. And that's what happens, man. Yeah, just RoboCop wasn't able to weather the storm. I'll leave it there. I'll dish it back to the MMAnomaly. I know you got some good notes. I know you got some good commentary. In terms of what's next for these guys, I think you go to the drawing board. If you're RoboCop, you need to lick the wounds. You take whatever is next for you. You can't really choose anyone there. You're Jared Cannonier. Again, what are your goals? Similar to an Angela Hill, you fought the who's. Do you truly feel in your heart of hearts that you're going to try to make another run? Is someone, and someone like an Izzy Adesanya, if he wants to come back, I don't know. What's your motivation? I don't think I love that one either, but at this point, the reality is it's going to be a 2 or a 3. Like, he's pretty much fought everybody already. Not that much new blood, unless you have a name on your mind, my brother, but I'll dish it back to you here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the breakdown as always. Great fucking breakdown, Nano. Everybody give this man his round of applause, folks. Give him his roses. Give him his flowers. After all, we are just after Valentine's Day, right? So with that being said, folks, look, if you watch this fight back, if you watch not only this fight back, if you watch this episode back, man, you got to see that I literally called it to an extent, right? I literally said, if I'm, and Nano, cut me off if I'm rambling dad here to an extent. Pun intended. I think I said every minute after the 17-minute mark, this fight goes into our guy's favor. And that's exactly what happened, right? We saw in the first round, Gregory Rodriguez, Hopocap, he was up, right? He was down on total strikes, 26-31, but he was up on significant strikes, 25-22. And then in the second round, Cannonier started to come back a little bit, right? 33-25. And in the third round, man, it was still the Rodriguez show. I'll be honest with you. It was 43-34 on significant strikes. But again, if you watch the fight and you're not just looking at it on paper, as my guy said here, you'll notice that after that 2-minute mark, Jared Cannonier really started to pick up the pace in round 3. And that's when he landed that elbow. That's when he landed the counters and was staying out of range. Round 1 was arguably the best round for Rodriguez. And it's the biggest round in which he knocked him down twice. He outlanded him on significant strikes. He seemed to have the upper advantage. But if you look at the rest of the fight, again, like, you see that. His opponent outlanded him in round number 2. He was starting to come back. He was downloading data. The only thing I got wrong in this fight, Nano, if I'm being honest with you, is that it happened earlier, right? So Cannonier started downloading data earlier in round 1 than I thought. I thought it would take him 2 to 3 rounds to really understand what RoboCop brought to the table and to be able to move his head out of range and land the shots that he needed to counter those. But he really started to get the upper hand. Osterberry said, Cannonier's chin is weird. He gets wobbled real bad, but hardly ever gets put away. I'm going to keep that up as I talk about this, actually. So, Osterberries, do me a favor. Go back and watch Dustin the Diamond Poirier's early career. Watch his featherweight fights specifically. I used to joke, and mind you, this is one of my favorite fighters of all time. Got an autographed card right back there. This guy, I used to joke and say, it's not a Dustin Poirier fight until he gets dropped, man. I think he got dropped like 3 times against Rafael Assunção. Like, in featherweight, the dude just got dropped over and over and over and over again, but he'd come back and win. It was nasty stuff. That almost makes me think that Jared Cannonier would have a crazy, crazy successful career at light heavyweight, right? But what's crazy is he started at heavyweight. So he's gone from 265 to 205 to 185. The dude gets smaller every time we see him. It is insane. And with that being said, Nano, what do you think should be next for him at 185? Or do we think he cuts to 170 next? This fucking 40-year-old man. I'm kidding. There's no way, bro.
I was saying maybe he goes up. I thought you were going to say maybe he goes up a way and says, I'm done
There's
cutting.
no
Let me just fight a dude.
way.
No, that's crazy.
Could you imagine? He goes from 265 to 170. He's a reverse Anthony Rumble Johnson.
I mean, he's a freak where he's at now. He's shredded to the gills. He's popping out at the seams. There's no way. There's no way he's getting half a pound lighter than where he weighs in at. That's crazy work. But no, honestly, I think for a Jared, like, honestly, it's hard for me to pick. I truly don't know how to look at him when he's lost a lot of the guys in the top. Do you run one of those back? I don't know. It's tough. It's got to be Strickland, bro. Ooh, yeah.
It's got to be a rematch.
Yeah. Number 2.
A lot of us thought he won that one.
That was a really close fight, actually. I was pretty sure I was at Disneyland watching that one. That is an interesting matchup. Certainly can happen again. I know Sean wouldn't want to go like lower. He's going to want to try to fight for the title again sooner than later. But damn, Nasruddin's number 1 ranked right now. Ooh, sheesh. Nasruddin. Wow, that surprised me.
Hold on. I gotta address this real quick before we go any further. Dixon Sider said, "Wait a minute, Olin. I know you like and picked Cannonier. Aren't you a crystals freak like him? Nah, dude, that ain't me. That ain't me, bro. I don't do that.
That ain't me. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't say that.
You don't say that, bro.
Cristal, right? Like that, like Cristal, or are we talking crystals?
You talking about like the style of tequila, Mike?
Or the
Cristal?
hot sauce, little Cristal.
The Cristalino tequila, there you go.
Oh. Well, we'll see. We'll circle back. Maybe for a candidate. Yeah, I think for a Cannoneer. I mean, shit. I don't know. It's tough. I don't love picking anybody for him, but yeah, I think he's gonna have to run it back with someone. A Sean Strickland, of a Tory. Shoot, maybe the winner of Fluffy and Brendan Allen Allen. I'd pay to see that one. And then even for our boy G Rocks, I think I saw that in here as well. Maybe like a Roman Kopylov, somebody. I guess he's ranked. I don't know if you still reward him for that. Maybe someone else that's borderline ranked. Those are the two names I like, but curious to hear your thoughts, my brother.
I like Strickland, man. I think Strickland is the only one that makes sense. Osprey said Olin be like Tyrone Biggums. Bro, get out of here, bro. No, the only time I'm like Tyrone Biggums is like, hey, Dana, got any more of them fights, bro? That's the only thing I'm addicted to. With that being said, folks, yeah, I got Sean Strickland in this one. I like, look, Sean's coming off a loss. Jared's coming off a win. Trajectories make sense for fights, folks. I think that one makes the most sense. And what I have to ask before we call it quits for the night, Nano, who do you think will win that one in the rematch?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for me to bet against a Sean Strickland for sure. I mean, that's the guy right now. I hate to say it; it pains me a little bit, but he's talented, man. And Jared, like we mentioned, I think who mentioned his chinny chin chin. As he gets older, man, those flash knockouts are only going to continue to happen. I think it was Osterberry. Shout out. The chin it's weird. It's quote unquote suspect for sure. Getting wobbled, getting dropped, but he recovers super quick. So I think it's almost one of those Chuck Liddell type of situations here where your brain, I mean, you know, probably the mechanics of it, but essentially your brain just is turning off. It won't take much, nothing more than a good breeze or a good chin check of a shoulder.
The analogy I like to use is like a milk carton, right? Like every time that you take a knockout, it's as if taking a carton of milk out of the fridge and forgetting you took it out of the fridge. You're leaving it out of the fridge for like an hour or 2 hours. So every knockout, it's taking days off that expiration date, right? And it's tough. It's tough. Now, Anakin actually said in the chat here a couple things, obviously. The one that he said, though, that really stuck out to me was Jared versus winner of Fluffy versus Allen. That is a good one.
Yeah, I think that's the most logical. Makes sense. They're fighting pretty soon too, right? Is it next week or a couple weeks?
They're fighting very soon, my friend.
Around
They're
yonder.
fighting very soon. They're fighting next week. They're fighting actually this week.
Oh, spoiler. Tune in.
We'll be breaking that one down on Thursday or Friday, depending on the schedules that line up for me and the man to my right, folks. Look, folks, that's it. We've been going for over 2 hours at this point. I honestly could keep going all fucking night with you guys. I'm going to pour one more. Fuck it. We're doing one more shot for you guys.
One for the row.
One for the row. You already know what it is. And with that being said, folks, if you're not already liked, comment, subscribed, all that stuff, do us a favor. Comment, subscribe, like, smash that bell for notifications, folks. This dude's saying fluffy season. Lane's saying 2 more shots for Olin. I'll take one post show. I'll send it to you. DM me on Twitter. I'll send you the video, my friend.
Salute. And if you're
Cheers
talking about the
all.
comedian, I agree. Salute. But we're all in on our boy, Sir B. Allen. And he's got a signature to showcase it as well. So don't you come. You better come correct. I think that's what I was trying to say.
I mean,
Don't you be sweating that boy.
if you're coming at the king, you better come correct because Brendan Allen is the man, the myth, the legend. I think he gets it done. We're going to talk about a couple things. Yeah, I was going to say something, but I'll leave some meat on the bone because we're going to be doing a full-on breakdown video for UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Song Yadong, coming up at the end of the week, folks. You already know what it is. Do us a huge favor again. Last thing, leave a comment post-show. Really helps with the algorithm. Let us know what your favorite fight of the night was. Let us know if you thought that the bonus givers got it right. Do you think somebody else deserved Fight of the Night? Do you think somebody else deserved Performance of the Night? And either way, let us know who you think should be next for the biggest winners of the card. But above all else, folks, even if you don't do any of that, do two things for us. Keep on going, keep on growing, and leave a comment in the comment section telling us how you plan to keep it going and keep it growing, baby. Cheers to you, cheers to us, cheers to the fuss and the must, baby.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.